Back here with Chris Broussard, and we are talking Mavs Clips Game 4, Broussard. So where does Luka's incredible game winner leave the Clippers now? Yeah, the series is tied, but momentum has shifted way over to Dallas. Kawhi, though, finished with 32 and 9. He was great, but it was another dud for Paul George, just 9 points on 3 of 14 shooting. Doc Rivers had some harsh criticism for his team after the game. Take a listen.
Honestly, I thought he got to lead and stop playing and give them credit. They kept playing. I thought that end of that whole second quarter, they'll make it a run, get back in the game, change the whole complexity of the game. But honestly, I thought we were very emotionally weak tonight, to be honest.
Broussard, how do you call your team emotionally weak? How do you show up emotionally weak for a game like this?
Now, let's keep it real. Doc said we are not an emotionally weak team, but tonight we were very emotionally weak. There's a difference. And that's why I still have faith that the Clippers will win the series and win the championship. Bring it on. Bring it all.
Yes.
I want all. This is only going to make it that much better in about 4 weeks or however long it is before they win the championship.
4 weeks? My God.
But look,
did you hear what you said?
Yeah.
Did you hear what you said? You just said the head coach. The head coach just called his players, his team, emotionally weak, and you're saying that's not my team. If that is the language a coach used, then that is your team. Think about what Paul George said after the game. He said, I need to have a volatile crowd. I need people in a volatile environment to get going. Is he bored? Like, come on, what's going on with your team, man?
All right, look, here's the deal. First of all, I'm not going to let Doc fully escape. Doc's got to do better with the rotations. He's got to get his guys emotionally ready to play. And Reggie Jackson being in at the end of the game is shaky right there. However, I like the fact that Doc called them out. He needs to. This whole year, they have needed to be more accountable. And that's on Doc Rivers. And so Doc calling these guys out the way he did, that is the first step, all right? Recognizing you have a problem is the first step. You know, Nick, last week, what did I say after they lost game 2? I said, look, this nonchalant, we can turn it on whenever we want. We can win with whoever's on the court. Attitude that they've had all season is coming back to haunt them. I think they can get over it, but I'm glad Doc is calling them out on it. I'm cool. Yep. Okay, it won't be in 5, it'll be in 6. Fine.
Okay. Listen, so here's the deal. This is so great. It's so great. And I'm going to throw it back to you, Broussard, because I love it so much. Because all we are is 70-plus games into the only season these guys have played together. And you are still insistent they are going to be something they weren't all regular season and something they haven't been specifically this series, which is better than the Mavericks. Game 1, they jump out 18-2, and after that, a 69-48 stretch before Kristaps gets kicked out. Game 3, Game 2, pardon me, the Mavs lead wire to wire, and Game 4, the Clippers go up 21 with Luka on a bum leg and no Kristaps. And that is followed by 75-42. This game doesn't even go to overtime if the refs don't miss Lou Williams just absolutely raking Luka across the arm when the Mavs have the ball up 7 with 3 minutes left to lead to the layup. But I'm glad the refs missed that call because it led to the Luka iconic shot right in Kawhi's face. No, Kawhi once again switched off him, so he didn't have to deal with that. It was on Reggie Jackson. Should have been on Kawhi if Kawhi was going to guard him. But here's my question to you, Broussard. There were 2 reasons folks such as yourself, and tell me if you think I'm wrong, said the Clippers were the favorites. The Clippers are going to win the title. Reason 1, 2 superstar do-everything wings. Reason 2, an elite defensive team. I'm looking around, I see 1 superstar wing, and I see no defense. So if the 2 biggest reasons you're supposed to win the title, don't exist. Why are you supposed to win the title?
Well, those were two of the reasons. All right, they also have good off. They're the second highest rated team offensively this season. You know that. So they're not just a defensive team. They have offense as well. They have as much depth, if not more, than any other team in the league. Now, Doc's got to do a better job of handling that depth, and it's showing right now. And I think some guys are frustrated. Some guys are wondering, why was Reggie Jackson in the game at the end? And when Doc talks about emotionally weak, you saw several examples. You mentioned it, Nick, at the end of the game, when Reggie Jackson, now Doc said they wanted to switch, but Reggie was supposed to deny Luka. So the fact that he didn't deny Luka the ball for longer, that's emotional weakness. Or I would say fact that Kawhi didn't fight over the pick to guard Luka and insist on doing that. That's giving in. I was told that Paul George and Doc had words. Doc was like, stay aggressive. We need you to shoot more. And George is like, well, I'm missing. I'm off. That probably is what Doc was referring to as well as some emotional weakness. So, look, yesterday, there's no defending. I'm not even mad because I'm a Luka fan, and I couldn't be mad after that shot. And also, I'm confident that the Clippers will still win the series, and all of you will bow, including the newcomer. Brandon Marshall has not wasted any time calling me out. He will bow as well as the rest of you. Watch.
Kevin, Kevin, do you find it interesting that Chris isn't addressing the elephant in the room? He's talking about Doc Rivers, he's talking about Luka, but it comes down to Paul George. Like, Paul George, like, where is he? Like, think about this.
I hate to say it.
Like, this guy is, like, where's he at, Kev?
I'm using, this is what Nick used against my Blazers, and it was actually a good take, although it seems like a paradox. Paul George is shooting so poorly, it probably bodes well for the Clippers. If you don't think Paul George is hurt and that he's just in a slump, he's going to break out of the slump. So Nick Wright sent me a text out of the blue on the weekend. He's like, hey, Wilds, look at this graphic. This is why I felt good. I feel good that the Lakers are the worst shooting team in the bubble. And that's what Paul George is. Paul George is playing so poorly, unless his shoulder is hurt and he's not telling anyone, which he hasn't mentioned yet. So I feel like he's playing so poorly. Once he bounces back, Broussard, I think we'll get the real Paul George.
But he's running out of time.
He's ran out of time. People are starting to question if he's a superstar. No, people are starting to question if he's a superstar. Have you ever seen Kobe Bryant not rise to the occasion? LeBron James,
well, he's not Kobe.
Michael Jordan.
He ain't that.
But he's a superstar. But he's a superstar. When have you ever seen a superstar not rise to the occasion? If he's a true superstar, then he'll go for 30 next game.
Or
Jenna, listen, he's a star.
Of course he's not a superstar.
He's a number two. But he's not even looking like a number two right now.
He did, though, to his credit.
Come back.
Broussard, to his credit, he did outscore the Mavs number 2 yesterday. Because the Mavs beat them with their number 2 in street clothes, chilling. Because the great depth of the Clippers can't overcome a loss of Patrick Beverley. Great depth of the Clippers can't beat guys the Knicks gave away, undrafted players, and Maxi Kleber, who's 1 of 17 from 3 in the series. But Wilds, to bring it back to your point, which was, well, Nick, you said the Lakers are so bad it's actually good. I wouldn't feel that way if the Lakers hadn't been a top 5 offense all year. They had been, so you knew it would correct to the mean. Can we show what playoff P really means? Here's Paul George. Here's a list you don't want to be on.
This is something from like 2015. Is this the stat?
No. This is Wild's new graphic. Worst field goal percentage. Last 4 seasons. That's Marcus Smart, who just learned to shoot recently. Danny Green, who's just had some awful playoff runs. Ross, who gets crushed for his bad playoff performances. And playoff P. I don't even have to tell you about the 2 for 16 in a closeout game. Listen, it's only gotten worse for him. He was 4 for 17 in game 2, and we're like, what's wrong? He's like, I'll show you what's wrong. It can get worse. How about 3 for 16? And then how about yesterday? 3 for 14. It's just worse and worse and worse, Jenna.
Broussard, hop in here. Are you going to be the guy to defend him? Go ahead.
Nick is being disingenuous, and Wild's already called him out on the Lakers, okay? I'm going to call you out on Westbrook. Now, you think your Rockets have a great chance to do something special these playoffs. I mean, I know you obviously got them losing in the next round to the Lakers, but you have faith in Russell Westbrook. He was on that list, too. So if you can have faith in Russell Westbrook, why can't you have faith in Paul George?
Okay, well, a couple things. One is Russ.
That's all I need.
Right, I got it. One is Russ has been far better than Paul George thus far this postseason simply by not playing. By being inactive, he has outplayed Paul George. Secondarily, Russ brings a lot more to the table than high-efficiency shooting. Paul George's whole game is supposed to be takes good shots, takes open shots, takes smart shots. Now, he's an excellent defender in theory. But when the Mavs are hanging 130 on you every night, nobody's a good defender. Russ is going to rebound and assist at a high level and do other things. And by the way, I'm not so sure if playoff P didn't just infect Russ their 2 seasons together, which is why his percentages are low. Maybe now that he's free of that, he's going to bounce back up into the mid-40s. I'm not sure. I just know that Paul George, when we are speculating, is he hurt? That means you're playing terribly.
All right, well, the Clippers are in rough shape. Maybe not as rough as the Sixers. Is Joel Embiid's future in Philly up in the air after the Sixers got swept out of the first round? Next.